Alright, today with GIS, we're going to do some bear hunting. So first thing first is you need to have GIS. So you need to go to the website here, and you can download it. Click on the download. There's a lot of resources that you can use about plugins. They have a certification program where you can search if you want to get certified. But download the software, load it up, and get it started. Okay, once you download it and start it up, you'll see something like this. You'll have your recent projects, you have project templates, but this would be the general layout. Mine might be a little bit different. But what you want to do is start the new empty project. We'll double click. More than likely, this area will be white, and we'll change that in just a moment. But first, we'll see here, we have layers, browser, and this area is the Canvas Assistant, which is the map area. All right. Now, to do this bear hunting, we're going to need a map. And with maps, we'll find them in plugins. So, manage and install plugins. And these are the ones that I want you to install to use. These are the very common ones and ones that you kind of get started to kind of play around and at least start having fun with some of the maps and making some interesting things or looking around and just kind of checking it out. So, first one is QuickMapServices. Download or install it. Mine says reinstall, but it should say install for you. And OSMinfo, this one right here, you want to download that one. And this is my installed, so to install the third one, the Gbif Occurrences, this is the one that we're going to want. All right, so this is the install button. We'll install it. There we go. And they're installed. I'll go back up to the plugins. And if you look here, this is the toolbar. You'll see them here. So my installed ones, let me get rid of that. They'll pop up on there. You see on the toolbar, see how they're popping up? So anytime you install it, and once they're installed, you can take them off if it's too much for you. But you click there, see? They pop in like that, okay? So they're gonna be on your toolbar. So first things first, we need to change the white background. And we'll go to settings, to options, and it'll normally be here in general. In general, this area is kind of important. Yours just might be in the system. I have override system locale because I'm in Europe and I tend to use the English setup. If that is your case, then you want to override your system locale, which is wherever your computer or system is set up on, and then change it to whichever country that you want to set it up to. There's a lot going on in here. Don't worry about that right now. We're just going to go to Canvas and Legend and background color. And you can select here the background color that you want. You can choose color and be more detailed about it, but whatever you want. I chose this blue color just because it's kind of like the ocean and it's not that bright as the white. So once you set that, now every time you start a project, it's going to be this color. If you want to change it within the project, then you'll go to project properties. Very similar, but these are more specific to the project. It will be in general, and then background color. And then say I want to change the background color to this blue. You can click apply or just OK, and now it'll switch to this blue. All right, now we need a map. So this is the Quick Services plugin. We'll click on it. If you don't see all these maps that I have here, you want to go to settings, more services, and get the contributed pack. It'll install, and then you'll have those maps. Alright, so then just select a map. There's a bunch of different ones. Choose the one that you want to use. You want to use a satellite one. The Google ones are pretty good. This one's interesting, the tectonic plates. In fact, I'll show that. It's kind of cool. Let's see, satellite. And then you see it popped up as a layer. And then what we're going to do is tectonic plates. Go there. And so this is a stack kind of thing, like Photoshop. So if you want to see it, you want to put that one on top. See there? Now you see the red lines. So here you can see the tectonic plates around the Earth. Already pretty cool. Look how it lines up to the center here. I don't know. That's pretty cool to me. Look at that. Right there. So again, play with those maps. You should enjoy this. If you don't enjoy this, then don't do it. Alright, so we have a map, and actually I don't even like that map, at least not for this. I'm going to remove that map. Sorry, I may have did that too fast. You right click, and there's a lot of options. Again, we'll get to some of those things here in a little bit, but first what we're going to do is just a remove layer. Layer removed. Alright, what I'm going to do is go back to the map services and go down to the OpenStreetMaps and do the standard. This is the one that I'm going to use. I'm going to zoom in to the area. So we're going to find some bears here in the Pyrenees area. Okay, so the Pyrenees are generally these mountains through here. In fact, we can find out exactly where the mountains, or at least what they call the Pyrenees, by using the next plugin, which is this guy here, is the OSM or OpenStreetMaps point info. It's a little finicky sometimes, so what we're going to do is click. I also want to get Andorra, so I'm going to click on Andorra, but this should give us information around this dot, essentially. So it takes a minute. There we go. Worked on the first time. Sometimes it doesn't work on the first time. You just got to keep clicking around. Another thing to keep in mind is if you click again, it's going to disappear. So if you like your click or your point that you have, you want to go up to the top here and push the little hand button icon thing, and you can move around and you're safe, so you don't have to move anything. Now on your side, you'll start seeing little outlines. You can click on them or go up and down with the arrow keys. So this is Andorra, and then you can see here this is the Pyrenees. Zoom out a little bit. So this is what's considered the Pyrenees. Who made this? I don't know. This is from OpenStreetMaps. I don't know the details of how they're made, but this is the Pyrenees. So we're going to save two things from here. We want to save Andorra, all right, and the Pyrenees. So first we'll go to Andorra. So the cool thing about this is instead of having to go search or find a shape file, which is essentially the polygon or the geometric shape around this area, we can just right click and click Save New Feature, or Save Feature as a temporary layer. Saved, and we got it on the side. Very good. Now, Pyrenees. There we go. We have that one. We're going to do the same thing. Save New Feature. There we go. We have the two. We can exit out of this. We don't need that anymore. Now, if you notice, Andorra is underneath. So we'll slide it up to the top, and there we go. All right, and we want to kind of see the mountain area. So this is a good time to show you how to change those. So we'll double click on the Pyrenees. It might start here or here. I don't know where it starts, but symbology is the one to change the symbology, the lines and the colors. So we'll go to Simple Fill, and there's a lot of different things here you can play with and find out which ones. I'm going to try to keep this pretty simple. So we'll go again, Simple Fill, and the fill color, we actually don't want a fill color, so we're going to do a transparent fill. And then the stroke, which would be the lining outside of the shape, let's make this red. And we can just hit apply already and kind of see it. It's very thin, so we want to change the stroke width. Maybe let's go to 1. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then once you're happy with it, we'll click OK. There we go. Now we have the Pyrenees outlined. We also have Andorra. So for Andorra, which is fine, we have the color. We'll click on Simple Fill again. Here, instead of transparent fill, we'll just move the opacity down a little bit. There we go. And click OK. Okay, alright, I had a little technical difficulty there, but the transparent, you should just be able to click on the transparency and click OK, and then you see we have Andorra in a transparent fill directly around this tiny little country in the Pyrenees. Alright, so we have our map here. We have the Pyrenees and we have Andorra, just because we're going to use that for some searchability. Now, these right here means they're temporary. We need to save our project. Save it where you like. I'm just going to do GIS, save. I'm going to save it to my downloads. So if I were to leave this project now, go new project, it would tell me this, meaning those temporary files are temporary and they will be discarded when I leave this project. Excuse me. but we don't want to do that. We want to save them. If you do want to do that, hit yes and just keep on going. But we do want to keep these in case it crashes or something like that, so we don't have to do this over. So we're going to double click. It might be on the Esri shapefile, it might be on something else, I don't know, but you want to save it as a geo package. And usually the file name and the layer name is the same. That's what I do. You can do what you like. And save it where you want to save it, to the project folder. Everything else you can add identifiers later, but right now I wouldn't even worry about that. We're just trying to find bears. Alright, we hit save. We'll do that again. Do the same thing with Andorra. Select the place. I'm going to select the file. We'll hit save. Hit OK. You can see at the top here it says saved. Alright, and now they're gone. So we'll save the project again. Now we won't lose it. If it happens to crash, which sometimes it does happen unfortunately, we won't lose our progress. Now for the third plugin that I showed you is the GBIF. Alright, so you click on it and it has a lot of information. The main thing you need to find is the taxon key. So how are we going to find that? We're going to go to the website. Okay, so this is the site. This is the GBIF site, and when you go to it, you can find a lot of information on here. I recommend kind of exploring it. But for right now, we're going to go to species, and we're going to type in bears. Type in bears and not bear, because otherwise it'll not find the exact like high class of the bear. So this is what we want. This guy right here. We'll click on it. You can see there's a lot of bears. Apparently, well, by record, no bears here. I don't know why, but also you always learn stuff with maps. So this is the bear information. This is the full taxon name or scientific name. But what we want is right up here, this little code. So we're going to take that code and copy it. We're going to head back over here in GIS. Okay. And we're going to click on our plugin. And right here on the taxon key, we're going to click and paste. Now you could plug in scientific name, but the taxon key is more specific. So, you know, you can't misspell numbers, I guess. And now we're going to click country. And what we're going to do is first start with Spain. Let's go with Spain. Sometimes it does it automatically. There you go. So now we're loading up all bears in Spain. And here we go. Here are all the bears in Spain, at least tracked. Okay. It brings it in. It doesn't bring it in labeled. We'll right click and go to rename layer. I recommend naming them. Let's see, bear, let's call bear Spain. So we got bear Spain. Nice. All right. Now we're going to do it one more time. Okay, except this time, let's go with Andorra. And let's load again. Now we got some bears in Andorra. Okay, let's move this there. Let's put those on top. All right. All right, and right click, rename. Let's go bear Andorra. Alright, and we're going to do one more because we're on the border of 3 countries here. We're going to do France. And load again. Now we have all the ones. There seems to be a lot more in France. It does take a minute. I have an M3 MacBook. It's a lot of information for it to pull in. It's, you know, it's pulling actually a spreadsheet table too. So here we go. We'll rename layer and we're gonna do bear France. Nice. So here, and you can see there's bears all through France, all through Spain, but this is the area that we're looking at that we've highlighted. Again, you can click them on and off with a little eye. You have Andorra here. If we wanted to see just the ones in Andorra, we'll take off bear Spain there, and all these ones in Andorra right here. Let's double click on the Andorra one. Symbology. Back to the marker, and let's change this to orange. Let's make the dot a little bit bigger and click OK. There you go. So not too many bears in Andorra, at least tracked or marked on this data set. Doesn't mean that it's completely official. Bears could be anywhere. All right, so again, we have the temporaries here. You can save it. I'm gonna risk it and not save these right now and just hope for the best that it doesn't crash. But for right now, if it does crash, then I were to lose this information and I would have to start over. So not recommended. Always save it if it's super important. All right, so besides that, there's a little more information going on in here. There is a table. So let's start with Spain. So the first thing we're going to do is concern ourselves with only the Pyrenees. So we have some out here and some out here. We don't care about those out there because we're not going to be hiking there. We're not looking for bears there. We're looking for bears here. So what we're going to do with this bear right here, Spain, right? And we have the Pyrenees here. So these are the two informations that we need. We're going to click on bear. We're going to go up to the top and we're going to go to vector. And from there, we're going to go to geoprocessing tools and clip. We're going to clip. Now, the input layer, basically what we're cutting out. So what we're going to be trimming is the bears here. What we're looking for, see we have our two shapefiles here, is in the Pyrenees. So we're only concerned bears in the Pyrenees. This is going to create another temporary. If you wanted to change it or name it, go ahead. But we're going to do another temporary, and I'm going to click run. There we go. Now it says clipped, right? So let's get rid of that. And now you can see we only have the bears in the Pyrenees. Much smaller data set, a little more focus, might help our computer run faster, and might minimize our crashing. So we can just go ahead and remove that one. We don't need the full one anymore. And this clipped one, we're going to rename the layer and call this the new bears Spain. There we go. Alright, so that's the new one. And Andorra. Andorra's already within the area. There's no clipping needs to go on there. But we do have France. So at this moment, if you want to pause it and give this a shot, it's super easy. Rewind if you have to. But clip just the ones here, right? Because this is where we're searching for bears. We don't care about bears up here in the north. Which is crazy that there's bears up here in the north. I guess it's not crazy. There's bears anywhere. Well, apparently not in the south, as we saw on the map. But anyway, so bears. So if you want to get a second, just clip it out and come back. All right, and we're back. Hopefully that came out good. If not, don't worry about it. Just keep trying. It's kind of a simple thing, but you'll be using it a lot, clipping and stuff to kind of narrow down your information. So it's a pretty simple yet practical tool or practice to kind of work with to help with your information. So now we have the Pyrenees and we have our bears all within the area that we're searching. But there's one more thing. I mean, we didn't know what this information is. And with each one of these, there is attribute tables or spreadsheets, excuse me, that you can pull up. And we're going to start first with Spain. Now, there's two ways to pull up the attribute table. You right click and go to open attribute table. The other option is up here at the top, open attribute table. So we click open attribute table. All right, and then you have a table of a bunch of information. So, and they all kind of vary. Just because one is like this doesn't mean the other one's going to be like this. So it's not necessarily the same. So there's a lot going on here. It's kind of annoying to read here. You can click this to kind of look at it a little bit more. It's the doc attribute, but it's also still annoying. So this also moves. Let's just, we're going to dock this back. There we go. Things move around sometimes. There we go. Here we go. All right. So I don't like doing it in here. I'd rather look at it in a spreadsheet on like a Google spreadsheet, which makes it a lot easier. So let me open that back up. So what I want to do, another tool and a quick thing we can do is we'll highlight them all, hit this little square, and with this highlighted, we'll click right and we'll go to export. Now, save features as. So the features are features selected. So the feature that we have, or if it's something, for instance, the whole entire sheet. If we save the features as, and it's not highlighted, it'll save the entire layer, kind of like what we did before. But what we want is the selected features. So it's all this green here. All right. We're just going to save that. We're not going to save it as a geo package. What we want to save it as is a CSV, because we just want the spreadsheet. So we're going to say Bears Spain. Okay, Bears Spain, and choose a file where you want to save it. I'm going to save it to my downloads. And here we go. All this you can kind of leave. There we go. It also saves it to our layers here. You don't have to do that. I have it on there, but besides here, it's also in my download. So what I'm going to do is upload it to Google Spreadsheets, and we're going to go through that. Now you can upload it to whatever you want to use. Excel, I'm just going to use Google Spreadsheets. So upload it into there, and I will see you there. Okay, so we have it loaded in. Here we go. And I loaded both in already. I'll show you how to do that with the other one, but you can practice loading each one. It's going to be the same process for each one, but so we're going to break it down just with the Spain one. So the Spain one, there's a lot going on here. A lot of information, and not all of it do we need. We only want to know the points. We're not really concerned with all this extra stuff. So we need the X and Y, latitude, and longitude. So make it a little bit easier. We can click this top one. Make this a little bit bigger. Okay, and we'll scroll through and see. You could just do, I guess, Control F and do, what is this, lat? That's too many. And you'll have to do this with a lot of information that you get, because it's not always good or have missing values. So this is, again, just a little fun practice. Bear searching. So where is it at? It's somewhere around here. I probably shouldn't have made it so big. Here we go. All right, so these are the two ones that we want. We have decimal latitude and longitude. So that's basically all we need. We're really not concerned with all the rest of the stuff. You can look through the information. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Actually, you know what? This is what we want. So year also. So the first thing, I mean, there's tracks here from 1578. We don't need stuff from 1578. Bears live 10 to 20 years, sometimes 30. Not however long that is. That's really long. So we're gonna go and sort it. So 2025, cool. 25, 22. Where are we gonna go to? Let's go to 2019. That's a good divider between those two. So we'll go here, click there. And a quick way to do this is, at least on my computer, I guess Windows is different, but it's Command-Shift-Down. It'll highlight all of them down, and we will delete. There we go. Now we're only 2019 and up. That's already making our information a little bit better. All right, so now let's go back up to the top and find our latitude. Again, this is just some of the process. It seems a lot, but we will be able to use it. Let's see. Here also, I do want to keep the species. So species to here and here. We'll delete those. And here, I'll delete to the side. Delete. Okay, so we have the genus, latitude, longitude. This we don't need anything else past that. And delete. There we go. And delete. All right. So now we have latitude, longitude, and the bear genus. That's basically all we need. So we want to export this and save it as a CSV. So download and CSV. All right, once you've downloaded it, we'll go back to QGIS, and this is the other important tool that we're gonna use. Up here at the top, where we can open a data source. So we'll click Open Data Source, move this on my screen here. There's a lot of data sources to pull in. We're only worried about right now this delimited text. We're gonna choose the file. I have mine, New Bears, Spain. It is a comma separated values. You can see already it's discovered that the longitude and latitude, you can see our information looks good here, and we're like, all right, well, everything's good, coordinates, and we'll click add. So now once we've added it, we have our New Bear Spain and our Bear Spain right here. So there's not too much that's different. You can see the two. So we have green and these guys, which are still selected, I believe. Right. So there we go. So now we have our New Bear Spain and our Bear Spain. I have the other ones ticked off for right now. And you can see there's some overlap of the older ones. It's in purple there. And the green ones. So these are really just the only ones that are within our region. Now, I did an opposite. It's still showing these other ones. If you want, you can re-clip these. And again, to do that, we'll go to Vector, Processing Tools, Clip, New Bear, Spain, Pyrenees, and click Run. And now we have the clipped ones. And if we go here, you'll see they are clipped again. Now we finally got it. We have all the bears between 2019 and 2025, I believe, in the Pyrenees clipped, ready to go. We have our new table, which you can right click and go to Attribute Table, open Attribute Table, and this was our sheet that we got from Google, or that we edited afterwards. So this is all the information that we needed. All right, so that's the first one to do. Andorra, you're not gonna need to do it. We could pull it up. Let's see what this table looks like. There might not be that many. Let's see if there's a year in here. This one might not have a year. This is fine. There's only one that's off. There's not that much information anyway, so apparently they don't care about bears in Andorra. There's not that many. So there's only one recently. So we can just remove this whole one in general, or keep it. I mean, there's really only one off, so this still fits within our 2019. Actually, no, it doesn't fit between our 2019. So there's really only one. So we can keep this as one, or we can just take it off. So I guess that basically means we don't have to worry about bears in Andorra. Now we have the France bears, right? So these, I've already clipped this, but when you download the spreadsheet and bring it back in, you'll have to do that again. So going to the spreadsheet, here in the spreadsheet we have the bears in France. Now you'll see this one is a bit different. It's a different information. It doesn't have the same year like it had. I know because I looked at it already. Okay, I don't know why I couldn't find it, but here it is. This is the event date. So this is when we want to sort. We'll go here. That's 2025. We'll scroll down. Let's do we have 2019? We have a few more in 2019. We'll go 2019. There we go. We'll delete the rows. And again, the only places that we need is the name. We'll do genus. I'll save that, so we'll delete everything to the left. Command Shift arrow key left or right, wherever you're deleting, we'll delete there. Alright, we have these we don't want. We're gonna clip them, so we've already clipped the year, so we don't need the year one. We'll take it all the way to, oh no, here we go, to here. We'll delete these, and there we go, here to here, and delete these. Alright, now I'm gonna download this as a CSV and load it back in. Now back in GIS, we'll click our load. It's already found everything, that's good. We'll click add, we'll close. And there we go. And again, it has the full information, so we're going to do another clip. Okay. Now we have successfully found our bears. So here we have, let's just remove the Andorra clip. So again, we have our main map. We have the Pyrenees here in red. We got our information, downloaded it, filtered through onto the spreadsheet, and it clipped the information that we needed. We made it more simpler, and now we know within here, these are the bears. So that's a lot going on. I mean, it can be a little bit complicated, but that's kind of like the process. Besides actually joining, which is another video that I'm going to make, I'm still learning myself in all this as well. But I just kind of wanted to make this video to do something a little bit different. There's a lot of election maps and things like that out there, but I don't know, I focus more on plants and animals, and I feel like finding bears was a little bit different and a little more fun. You can also overlay this with a trail, and you can see if bears are on your trails or sightings. But there's other things that you can do, like even waterfalls, which I'm going to show in another video, where you can pinpoint waterfalls using this plugin, the OSM one, and you can choose trails according to waterfalls. Now, I know all trails and things like that do that, but some of those waterfalls are not on all trails. So you can find some really cool places that other people haven't discovered using this, which I find is pretty interesting and fun to use. So I try to find this way and using it some kind of practical way and developing it in a fun way, opposed to just making certain, again, just election maps or population maps and things, which are also cool. But my focus is, or has been, more on animals and things like that, and trying to find some kind of correlation. So either way, I hope it was helpful. I'm learning. I hope you're learning too. I'm at the beginner at this, but to me, I enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy it too. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. I'll be making a few other hunting videos of finding other animals or plants, possibly. We'll see.